Hello and welcome to this Kennel Connection training video. This video is going to show you how you set up boarding rates in the system. So when Kennel Connection is looking to see what boarding rate is supposed to charge, it's a tiered system where it looks in several different places. The first place it always looks is the pet card, so we're going to look there first. So we're going to open this pet Blue and we're going to go to his boarding section, and you'll see he has a default rate of $35 on his pet card. So that means every time you make a boarding appointment for Blue, it's going to load in $35. Now, one thing to note, if you have prices on the pet card, is if you do a price increase, you have to go to every pet card and update the price there. So maybe you only use the default pet rate if it's indeed a special case. Maybe you have an employee that they get a special rate, or you're a client for whatever reason gets a special rate. So maybe you only use this a handful of times. Now, after the default pet rate on the pet card, you can charge by runs, you can charge by breeds, you can charge by weight class, or you can charge by inventory. So the first thing we're going to do is go to System Options, and this is where you tell it how do you want it to work. So we're going to go to Boarding, and this first option will require run numbers. This is telling it to charge by runs. So this is how I'm going to leave it for right now. We do have this option, charge by run rate. This is how the invoicing part works. We're going to look at that here in just a little bit. So once you decide you want to charge by runs, the next step, of course, is to set that up. And that's under File and Lists. So in here, you're going to go to your run size, and every run size has a rate for the first pet. And then these are the rates for the multiple pets. So if this owner were to bring 5 dogs in, you book them at the same time as a multiple pet appointment, and they're all in the same run, then they're going to get these prices. Similar to this. This will be the first pet rate, and then the second through 5th pet rate here. Now you also want to click over to your runs tab and make sure that they have a rate in here. This is for the first pet. So if it's a first pet appointment, you want to be sure there's a rate, or it may be $0. So this will be updated as you add your run sizes too. But just double check in here. Now also in this screen, we're able to go to breeds. And breeds allows you to do a pet rate or boarding rate in here too. So we're going to do a rate for Malamutes just so you can see what it looks like. Now, other than run sizes and breeds, you can also go into your inventory and add a rate in here. So we're going to go to boarding. We're going to say that's $52 and save it. So now we're ready to see what it looks like. So we're going to open up our boarding schedule. And we're going to make an appointment for Blue first. Now remember, Blue had that default pet rate on his pet card, so it's loading that price already for us, $35. However, this database requires that I have to choose a run. So I'm going to choose a run. And when I do that, it's going to ask me what rate do I want to use. And the reason for that is it loaded $35 from the pet card, but the run that I chose has a rate of $50. And it's just asking me what do I want to use. So I'm going to hit no here. Also, because I went into the breeds and I added a rate for the Malamutes, it's asking me would I rather use that rate instead. And I'm going to hit no here too. Now another example, if I make an appointment for this pet Green. Now Green does not have a rate on his pet card, so we don't have to worry about that. But because he's a Malamute, it's loading that rate that I have in breeds. So it's going to load that $75, but again, I have to choose a run. And that's going to make it go through the prompts to ask what rate do I want to use. So it's going to ask about the run first, and then it also asks about the breeds again. Another example is this pet Orange. Now Orange does not have a rate on the pet card. And this is a cattle dog, and I don't have a rate in breeds for this. So what it's doing is loading that rate in inventory that I have. But again, I have to choose a run, and it's going to do the same pop-up asking what rate do I want to use. So I mention all these pop-ups because that can be confusing for users. You can turn those off. So how you would do that is if you want to charge by runs, you would make sure that's the only place you have a rate. You would not have a rate in breeds, and you would not have a rate in inventory. But you still probably would want to do those special rates on the pet card, but just note it's going to give you that pop-up. So let's see what it'll look like. We're going to go into our lists, and we're going to take out that list for the Malamutes that we had, zero that out. We're also going to go to inventory, and we're going to take out that rate that we had in the boarding. So now we're going to make an appointment for Green again. If you remember, we got a couple pop-ups. So we're going to drag him over. Now remember, we had the rate in Breeze for Malamutes, but because I took that out, it's loading $0, and all I have to do is choose a run, and it's loading the rate for the run, and there's no pop-ups asking me what I would like to do. So if the pop-ups are confusing, you definitely can get rid of those. Now the other way to charge in here is by weight class, so let's look at that next. That's under File and System Options. And we're going to go back to boarding, and we're going to tell it we want to charge by the pet weight. We also have this additional pop-up, show the run rate prompt. So this is the prompts that we were looking at, the pop-ups. So if I have a pet who his weight is 70 pounds and I charge $40 for that, but I choose a run that's $50, if I check this, turn this on, it's going to ask me what rate do I want to use. So you definitely can turn that off if you don't want to see that pop-up. However, if it's important for you to know that the run that you're choosing has a different rate, you definitely can turn that on. But we're going to leave it off just to see what it looks like. So we're going to charge by pet weight. And the next thing we have to do is go and set up our weight classes. So that's back under File and Lists. We're going to go to Weight Classes. So these are the example of the different weight classes I have. So I'm going to look at 56 to 80. So for my first pet in this weight class, I charge $45. And then I also have multiple pet rates if the owner brings more than one pet. Now for weight classes, it's important to note that the only time that the multiple pet rates will apply is if the pets are all in the same weight class. So if this owner had 4 dogs that were all between 56 and 80 pounds, then it would apply all these multiple pet rates. But if this owner brought a dog in that was 56 pounds and a dog that was 10 pounds and a dog that was 100 pounds, it would not apply because they're all in different weight classes. Now for weight classes, the only place it's going to look is the pet card to see if he has a default pet rate, and then the weight classes. It does not consider breeds and it does not consider inventory. So let's look at Blue first. So we're going to drag Blue over. Now don't forget, Blue had that default pet rate on his pet card. So it's going to use that, and I'm going to choose this run. Now because I have it turned off for the prompt asking about the run rate, I'm not going to see that here. It's just going to use whatever's on the pet card. However, Green, his pet card has a weight of 70 pounds, so he's in that 56 to 80. So it's going to load that price for us, the $45. And even if I choose a run with a different rate, it's not going to ask me what I want to use because I turned that off. So we're going to go back and turn on the runs. We're going to take off weights for right now and show you a couple of things here. So I'm going to turn off weight class. Now we're going to talk about the multiple pet rates and this charge by run rate. So if I turn on charge by run rate, this changes how the invoicing part works. So if a pet moves runs during her stay, moves to several different runs, the invoice is going to list a line item for every run that they're in with the rate for that run. So we're going to see what that looks like first. So we're going to turn this off. Turn it on, sorry. And we're going to look at this pet Blue. So for Blue's appointment, he's here for a few days. And what I mean by changing run is you see how he's in different runs for each day he's here. So we're going to get out of here and see what the invoice looks like. So the invoice is going to list a line item for every day that he's in the run with a rate for that run. Now when your pets, if they move runs during their stay and the price is all the same, you don't have to leave this turned on. You can turn it off, but this will be important if your pets move between run sizes and they all have different rates. It's up to you how you want the invoice to look. So this is with charge by run rate turned on. So now I'm going to go and turn that off. Go back under boarding. We're going to turn off charge by run rate. It still uses the run rate. It just doesn't do the invoicing part the same. So this pop-up is just letting you know that the invoice is going to look different. So let's see how that looks. So for Blue, remember he was in all those different runs during his stay. So we're going to create the invoice. And you'll see how it looks very different. It just lists how many days he's in for boarding, and it's charging the rate of that first run. So that's the difference. If your clients don't like to see all those lines on there, or they get the same rate no matter when they move to different runs, this will be a way to do it. And then the last thing I wanted to show you is how the multiple pet rates apply. So we're going to make an appointment for these pets down here for Zach. We're going to select them all. Now in order for the multiple pet rates to apply, you have to put them in the same run. So I'm going to choose run 10, let's say. Then we're going to go down to multiple pets and see. And you'll see how it loads up the different rates as to how I have them set up in the database. So this is all automatic. As long as you're booking them at the same time and you have them in the same run, it automatically applies those rates. And then this will pull into your invoice. So that's as easy as it is to set up your boarding rates. If you have questions on that, you can let us know. Our number is 888-486-4343, option 2, or you can email us at support@kennelconnection.com. Thanks for watching.